Hey everybody, welcome to operations video number 3. Today we're going to ride the pushers. So this video kind of goes hand in hand with operations video number 2. We're on the same day at roughly the same time. There's going to be a little overlap and we can see how two trains have to interact with one another. We went on duty at 0840 at Pincher. The train that we're assisting today, UP 5727 West, left cautionary limit sign Fort Macleod at the same time. Takes them about 6 or 7 minutes to get here. So during that time, we went over, made sure that the units were MU'd together properly and checked the fuel logs. So I do actually, during a regular op session, keep track of fuel consumption in the helpers. It just adds a little bit extra to the whole operation. A good portion of the traffic that travels west across the layout uses DPUs in a couple of different configurations. So the crews on the pushers have to know how to insert themselves into a train depending on how it's set up. This one's a 211. With a 211 configuration, what the pusher crew will do is call the train to a stop, cut it in half directly behind the mid-train DPU, have the front half of the train pull ahead. We'll come out onto the main track, tie onto the tail end, MU the tail end DPU to our consist, put everything back together, and then we'll run up the hill.
Alright, 5727, that's about 8 cars per stop. Give me another 4. 2 more. Anywhere there's going to do. Alright, when you get a chance, give me a little slack, please.
The tail end DPU has to be un-MU'd at this point in time, and then there'll just be a tiny little reverse movement with that mid-train DPU to give us some slack. Some crews will actually even push with the tail end DPU to give them the slack that they need to get uncoupled.
Alright, 10 ahead to clear, please.
Even though it's only a one-man crew that ever operates the pushers here, I like to think about how the two crewmen would interact with each other. So in this situation, the conductor would have made the cut and he's going to ride the steps of that DPU forward to the west siding switch at Pincher. Once there's enough headroom, he'd throw that switch and call the engineer forward with hand signals. Now that's assuming that the engineer's riding in 709, the locomotive on the west end of the consist. Some engineers wouldn't want to have to swap ends of the consist when they get to the top of the hill, so they'd be riding in the east end, facing backwards up the hill. If that's the case, you just reverse this. You'd call them out with radio, and then they'd couple onto the back half of that train under hand signal.
Stop there, push 1. One more. That's going to do. Alright, when you get a chance, we're going to come back 2 cars, please, to a joint. One more, push 1. Left car. 10 feet. And that's going to do. Give me a little tug, please. Alright, we got a good joint.
We've got the tail end DPU MU to our consist. We're just going to roll ahead, couple onto the front half of the train. We'll do a tug test, make sure that we got a good joint, and we'll let the head end crew know that we're ready to go, and on their instructions, we'll start heading west.
push 1. Okay, 5727, here we go.
Communications between the two crews is quite important here to get this train started up and operating smoothly. You don't have to use the radio for that. The head end crew and the pusher crew are only about 10 feet apart from each other physically in the room. So head end crews calling off throttle settings, pusher crews trying to match those throttle settings. An experienced pusher crew is already aware of what's going on with the train just by watching the slack. So they can tell by what's going on in the train, the dynamics of the train, where they have to be on the throttle. The pushers are operating under the clearance of 5727, and the clearance given was from cautionary limit sign Fort Macleod to the west siding switch at Burmis. There's no other restrictions to the movement. There's no switches against us, so we're not meeting anybody. So we have a straight shot to the top of the hill. The track profile and layout is kind of like a roller coaster. So we're just drifting down to 1% here. And the reason we put the helpers in where we do is easy to get rolling on the downhill 1%, but we have a 1% grade back out of the sag as soon as we cross the Castle River here. Normally not a big deal, but if you want to keep trains moving quickly, then you put the helpers in at pincher, and then this train can maintain a little bit faster track speed, and that's going to help out the RTC. So after we climb 1% out of the Castle Valley here, we're going to get to the east siding switch at Cowley. It's level between east and west siding switch Cowley, and then we're going to climb up a few more inches in elevation and hidden track before we emerge at Tunnel 1. We went rolling through Cowley at about 40 mile an hour. We're at Tunnel 1 now. It's been 13 minutes since we started rolling at the Castle River there. The head end is just hitting the 20 mile an hour speed zone, and it will soon start up to 1.85%. Our speeds drop down to 13 miles an hour. The whole train's now on the 1.85%. We're just tiptoeing out onto the bridge at 41.65. As soon as we get off the west end of this bridge, we'll dive into Tunnel 4. We're going to do a loop in hidden track, and then we'll pop back out of Tunnel 5 at 45.2. The grade relents a little bit in the hidden track between Tunnel 4 and Tunnel 5. So as we pop out of Tunnel 5 here, we managed to pick up about 3 or 4 more miles per hour. The head end is already starting up another section of 1.85% and is about to get into the worst part of the climb at Drawbar Alley. So we're going to be right back down to 12, 13 miles an hour again.
SAR 713 to RTC.
Go ahead, 713.
We're on the move at Sentinel, east siding switch lined and locked for main track.
Thank you, 713.
Listening in on the radio chatter there, 713 East is just departing Sentinel, so the RTC's obviously got a meet set up for us at Burmis. If we can get in and get cut out first, 713 will have to follow us down the hill, and we should be able to get home in decent time. Both crews are starting to bring the speed down on this train as 5727 rattles over the crossovers. This is where the pushers are going to cut out. They'll call 5727 to a stop, throw the switch, cut out of the middle, line everything back up, push them together, and 5727 can continue west.
Alright, 5727, that's about 6 to a stop. Three more, 5727. And 2. One car, 5727. Anywhere there's gonna do. Okay, 5727, give me about 4 ahead to clear it.
We managed to get into Burmis before 713 East did. They're holding short around the corner, waiting for us to make our move. Once we get out of the train, get everything put back together, they're going to follow us back down the hill.
Couple more. By the time you get her stopped, that should do. Alright, push 1, come ahead 3. Two more, push 1. One more. Half. And by the time you get her stopped, that'll do. Give me a little slack, please. Okay, push 1, 3, head to clear the crossover, please. Two more. And 1. That should be there. Okay, UP 5727, good to push back 4 cars, please.
While our conductor's calling 5727 back to a joint, engineer on the pushers will be moving his grip to the opposite end of the consist for the trip down the hill.
Two more, 5727. One car. Half car. 10 feet. And that'll do, 5727. Give me a tug. Alright, that's a good joint.
Alright, we got a good joint. We'll cut in air and 5727 is good to go. We're ready to head back down the hill.
Push 1 to RTC.
Go ahead, push 1.
Yeah, we're all done up here at Burmis, looking to get home. Can we get some paperwork, please?
Okay, push 1. Here we go. Item 1. Clearance 48 to push 1, 0403 21. Item 3. Proceed from East EST, siding switch Burmis, BR, NIS to West WEST, siding switch Pincher, PINCHER, clear main track. Read back, please.
Okay, I have clearance number 4848, issue 2, push 1, 040321. Item number 3, proceed from East EAST, siding switch Burmis, BURNIS, to West WEST, siding switch Pincher, PINCHER, clear main track.
Read back. Item 11, complete at 0927B, RTC initials BAE.
Thanks, RTC.
Our conductor's down on the ground, lining us out of the siding onto main track so we can proceed down the hill. We got a nice clearance. We got a straight shot all the way to the west siding switch at Pincher. We're just drifting through Drawbar Alley here. 713 sitting up at east siding switch Burmis, waiting for us to release track. We're going to do that at milepost 45.2. That's going to give them a good chunk of track initially for the first release. By the time they're halfway through that, we'll give them a second release, and that'll give them a nice cushion.
Push 1 to 713, you can show us clear milepost 45.20930.
Roger, thank you.
Push 1 to 713.
Go ahead, push 1.
We're clear, milepost 42.850933.
Thanks, push 1.
Push 1 713, show us clear, milepost 39.80936.
Thanks, push 1.
Just rolling off the east end of the Castle River Bridge up to 1% towards Pincher. We released east siding switch Cowley to 713 at 0938. Once we get clear at west siding switch Pincher here, we'll call RTC and 713, let them know that the west siding switch is lined and locked for main track. That'll free up 713, won't have to protect against us anymore, and they can continue on to Fort Macleod without any more restriction. That push took just over an hour. That's about as fast as you can get one done if you're cut into the middle of a train. If there's any opposing traffic, obviously it's going to take longer. Therefore, if a operating session has more than 2 trains that need assistance up the hill, there'll be 2 crews called, and there'll be a push 1 and a push 2. That's what both sets of power are sitting here for. Thanks to my wife, she crewed 5727 and 713, and my boy, he was the RTC today. And thanks to you guys for watching. Stay safe. We'll see everybody in the next video.